Hey guys, hope everybody's doing well today. Today I want to talk about simplifying your finances. Whether you're considering early retirement or planning to retire or just wanting to live a life of financial freedom, which is what this channel is all about, you need to be able to simplify your finances. So I'm going to go over 3 different areas that you can consider to be able to scale back and simplify your finances for that next chapter or next season in your life. Number 1, limit your financial accounts to just what you need. And what I mean by that is you don't need lots and lots of different checking accounts, lots and lots of different savings accounts, lots and lots of different investment accounts, brokerage or retirement. You really just need 1 or maybe 2 in each category. So I would encourage you, if you have multiple checking accounts, maybe consider consolidating that down to just 1 checking account. If you have multiple savings accounts, then I would encourage you to just limit that down to 1 savings account. And if you have a brokerage account, just 1 would probably be plenty. And of course, if you have multiple retirement accounts, perhaps if you could simplify that down to just a minimal number of retirement accounts, that just makes life a lot easier on everyone. It makes it easier on you, makes it easier on your spouse or significant other, or anybody that would inherit those financial accounts after you've passed away. By the way, my name is Walter, and as I said, this channel exists to help those wanting to understand what life in early retirement looks like, or planning for retirement, or just want to live a life of financial freedom. So consider subscribing and liking the video if you like this content. Number 2, know your strategy. And what I mean by this is know what your financial strategy is, whether you're preparing for retirement or you're in retirement today. You need to know what your strategy is. And by that, I'll mention a couple different items. You need to know what your asset mix is. And your different asset classes are cash, equities, fixed income, real estate, gold, perhaps. And your investments will consist of some sort of mix of all those different asset classes. So it would be good if you're familiar and understand what different asset classes you own and in what percentages. And maybe you have someone that takes care of all this for you, and that's fine, but you still need to understand what that asset class mix looks like. And the same goes for the securities you own in each asset class. If you own equities, you should have a pretty good idea of what equities you own. If you own fixed income, you should have an idea of what those look like. Are they bonds or CDs, or it could be a variety of different things. But you should be familiar with what those individual securities are in each asset class that you own. Also, you need to understand if and when you rebalance. If you have presumably you have a mix of, say, something like 10% of cash and maybe another 40% in fixed income investments and 50% in equities. Well, over time, that tends to get out of balance. So how do you handle that? Do you rebalance once a year? Do you rebalance once a quarter? Do you rebalance whenever you think about it, or maybe not at all? But it would be good to understand if you have a particular mix of your asset classes you're trying to hit, when that mix gets a little bit skewed or out of whack, what do you have regular intervals that you go ahead and make some adjustments to get that back the way that you had intended that asset mix to be? The third thing I would suggest is when it comes to your investments that you simplify and just own the minimum number of securities that you need for what you're trying to accomplish. So what I mean by that is if you need to own some short-term duration securities, you don't need to own 10 of them if they're ETFs or mutual funds. Preferably as few as possible, maybe even just one. If you own for different durations, as an example, like I said, maybe for short term, 1 to 2 years, you keep your investments in some sort of treasury ETF or something along those lines. If so, you don't need to own several of those. Probably just 1 or 2 would be good enough. And for your medium-term investments, medium-term duration, say 3 to 5 or 6 years, perhaps you own some sort of balanced fund or ETF. Well, you don't need to own 5 or 10 of those. Probably just 1 or 2 again. And then what about for your long-term duration securities? Typically that would be 7 years or longer. A lot of times that would be tied up in growth securities, typically stock. Maybe you own an index fund like a S&P 500 index fund or a total stock market security. You don't need to own 3 to 5 or 10 separate ones. Probably just 1 or 2 is good enough. So what I'm suggesting to you is that you want to simplify your finances as much as possible in all those different areas that I mentioned. I hope you find this useful. If so, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel. Hey, leave a comment. Did this information resonate with you, or does it align with your thinking, or maybe you have different thoughts? I'd be interested to know. Thanks so much.